Irish Nation and Irish haters. The recruiting is over. The commitments have been made. Transfers decided. Practices are in motion. Games are slated. Bowl games have unknown participants with a national champion uncrowned. But to play like a champion, you need to talk like a champion. Welcome back, all Irish Nation, on this Victory Saturday evening. Even though it was overall, an hour and 45-minute delay. I'm happy, but then again, I am somewhat concerned because we did have some issues today that I was not pleased with. It took us a little bit longer than I would have liked for us to get our footing. But the Irish pulled out the 45-24 win. Really, it was 45. We got a lot of our secondary guys in there to develop that depth. But a very good call a win against adversity because NC State sent the house. And I thought that Marcus Freeman had a great speech when he said we were going to hit the reset button when the delay started. And then the very first play, Estime comes out and hits it for 80 yards. But other than that, it was like, it was a frustrating game to say the least. Even after Estime had it, I was really aggravated with the way Jared Parker, I've been saying your name wrong, I'm going to get it right. Jared Parker was just kind of like, okay, we're going to do the normal and see if they're going to back off. NC State was happy with having 8-9 men in the box stopping the run. They felt like that was the only thing. And what I really, really, really thought was phenomenal, and this is what separates the coaching staff now and Jared Parker from Tommy Rees. It doesn't take him that long to figure it out. Granted, he had an extra hour and a half to figure it out, but he realized that, hey, I'm going to get my tight ends in this thing. And he really did. He did a phenomenal job. And honestly, I said that I thought Merriweather was going to get in the end zone. And was it Merriweather? I think it was. Yeah. Merriweather almost broke free. He got hawked down by that fast linebacker that NC State has. He had a pretty good game. But looking at this, if you would have told me Sam Hartman was going to throw for 4 scores and no interceptions, considering all of the hype that went into NC State's, he's thrown 6 interceptions, I would have not believed you. I would have not believed he would have thrown 4 scores and 0 interceptions. Now, do I believe he could have not thrown any interceptions? Absolutely. But let's look at it from a numbers perspective. Sam Hartman, 15-24, 286, and it really looked like at times that this NC State defense was going to take over this game. And Estime had his longest run of the season there. Like we said, the first play of the second half. He ended up with 14 carries, 134 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Over 9 yards a carry, guys. So, once again, just Notre Dame dominating at the line of scrimmage. Well, I'm not even going to say dominating because I felt like NC State was going to give up 300. NC State knew they were struggling against the run, so they made a concerted effort to stop it. People don't look at Notre Dame's offensive line and say, okay, they struggled. They did because it was like 8-on-5 or 8-on-6, 9-on-6, if you will. And I'm putting 6 in there with the tight end. You can't block that many. So what had happened, what I saw was Jared Parker started saying, hey, okay, they're going to do that. We'll just go ahead and we'll start running trap plays and pull plays and misdirection type plays. What I did not see enough of, Coach, was some of our receivers getting the ball. Guys like Grayhouse who can get the ball on the edge. Make these misdirection plays. Run these receivers on these wing reverses, if you will, or even just giving them the football on those little passes. They're not run plays, but hey, that defense has got to figure out what's going to happen here. But all in all, I was really impressed. It was a little aggravating to watch this to start with. It really was. And for Brennan Armstrong, he's a good play. He's a decent player. He's just not a quarterback. He had a couple of good throws, but for the most part, he's just a scrambling quarterback. That's all he is. He's a scrambler. The 260 is going to fool you, but he's not. He's not on Sam Hartman's level, and not many people are, but, hey. Another thing I was disappointed in Sam is Sam took 2 sacks that I was just like, why are you holding the ball? And he put the ball on the ground because he's holding it. Look, I get it. You have to take the good with the bad, but Sam, get rid of that darn ball. Run if you have to, but get rid of it. Do what Brennan Armstrong was doing. I know he threw 3 interceptions, but throw it up. You had one play where you took a sack and you had one of your guys down here one-on-one with this NC State DB. Take that shot. Don't be afraid of it. Take it. Just don't take a sack. For the most part, once again, Jadarian Price had 7 carries, 31 yards. Jeremiah Love, 6 carries, 24 yards. Both of those having good averages. And we got to see Jabron Payne today. And I was very pleased with what I saw from a guy who had a career game today. Tight end Holden Stays. 4 catches, 115 yards, and 2 scores. Both of them made possible by Sam Hartman's ability to see things and be able to extend plays. Like I said, that's one of those things we got to live with because Sam Hartman's so good at stretching things out and making things great when they broken down. Greathouse had another touchdown reception today. Merriweather had 1 for 45. Did not hear from Deion Colsey again. So, like I said, I figured one of these guys was going to break and have a score, but Merriweather had a 45-yarder. Then let's not forget Chris Tyree's 65-yard play where, once again, the ability of Sam Hartman to improvise and get out of trouble and stretch plays out and be able to buy himself time is what caused that play. And that's something that I think Jared Parker's definitely got to look at. If we got defenses that our offensive line can't do, you move the pocket. Move the pocket. Get him on the move. And so much so that he was able to do that. That's what we have to be able to do. We have to be able, if we cannot hold a defense, if a defense wants to send a lot of guys, which we already know, the only teams that's probably not going to do that is going to be Ohio State and USC because they feel like they can get pressure with 4. And they're going to do their thing. So, and they're going to feel like they can stop the run with 4 guys. So, in a sense, it's going to be a situation where Jared Parker's got to be able to adjust on the fly. Hopefully this is not because he had an hour and 45 minutes to adjust or hit the reset button, if you will. But hopefully this will be something that is a learning experience, not only for himself, but the coaching staff as well as our players. Defensively, is a lot of things we could look at and say, I'm not happy and this, that, and the other. I still think they're running the ball too much on us. I think there's just entirely too many balls that's being run. Our secondary, I think they played a little bit backed off because they were aggressive, but they weren't what I would say, go aggressive. Because there were a lot of balls they got hands on, guys. I'm seeing what a lot of the other channels and podcasters were saying when they were talking about our defensive secondary was really, really good and aggressive. Watts did have an interception, but I saw too many times where this guy was either out of position, he missed tackles, or he had balls that he could have gotten his hands on had he, or even intercepted. Even before he intercepted, he was just going and not reacting to the ball. He was reacting to the receiver. So that's got to be cleaned up. Watts had a good game, but there was a lot of things where I'm just scratching my head, and I'm like, no. Donovan Heenish had a sack today, and that was the only one. But J.D. Bertrand had a really good game. Javante Baptiste had another great day. Maris Leopold was all over the place. He was just doing his thing. Other than that blown play that he had where they threw where he rolled out and threw the touchdown pass, that was really the only play that I could say where he made a mistake. He allowed him to get outside, and if he gets in that lane on the spy, he's unable to make that throw. But other than that, he had a great game, as always. Jack Kaiser had a great game, other than that offside on special teams. Thomas Harper had a impressive game today. But what's really impressive about the way the senior played is that he is beginning to come into his own. He had a couple of really good licks, but ultimately our safety is going to have to make plays on the ball. And once again, our secondary is really coming to play. Morrison should have had another interception. He should have had 2. He had a great play on the interception that he had, but he's got to make that easy one. That should have been 2 in one game. That should have been another multi-interception game for this guy. And, for the most part, I'm very pleased with the way our defense is. DJ Brown had a really good interception, and I'm really like what these guys are doing. Cam Hart had a quiet game. Make sure I get all of these. Jaden Mackey had a good game. Christian Gray had his name called quite a few times. Riley Mills in that front 4 really had a trying game today. I was wondering if it was something to do with the way they were blocking or whatnot, because I just refused to believe they weren't getting home. And the penalties they called there was a lot of them I just looked at and I was scratching my head. So I'm not even going to get into that. People are going to say cut down the penalties. A lot of times it's all dependent on the crew that you're dealing with. Yeah. NC State didn't play a bad game. They just came in blitz crazy. And you have to be able to adjust to that. And I thought Jared Parker figured it out and did a tremendous job. I'm very pleased with the job that he did. I think he's got to continue to do that. And we just got to keep doing our thing and allowing Sam Hartman to do what he does. I loved it. I think Hartman was great. As far as Al Golden goes, you gave up 24. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought some of the penalties your defense got on him in that one drive was garbage. And I would say kind of draw back on the blitzes where they're coming 15 yards to get to the quarterback. I don't like those type of blitzes. Do those every now and again. But Al Golden did a phenomenal job bringing things back to earth. But I'm very happy. As I said, the tight ends got involved today. Mitchell Evans had a carry today. And he also had a big one that he had. It was kind of behind him, but it kind of wasn't. So it was kind of that up there type of deal as well. Davis Sherwood, the junior's 2 tight ends had a touchdown grab, his first of this season. And this is kind of what I was listening to when I was listening to the broadcast of the Irish's game. They were saying they still got some really great tight ends that we have not seen. And they were said Jared Parker was wanting to get the tight end more involved, and which they did today. And I thought it was a phenomenal game plan. I honestly can tell you they were going after the wide receivers today. And NC State was basically saying, okay, we're not going to let you beat us with your wideouts. You're going to have to beat us and block us at the same time. So what they did was phenomenal. They played, hey, we're going to get a bump on you and then we're going to run past you with the tight ends. And they did it. Great play calls. Defense, like I said, was good. Sam Hartman, great again. Just a shade under 300 yards passing, 4 scores. And as I said, Tyree had a long one. We thought we were going for 6, but it didn't. It turned into another grab. Excuse me. It did turn into a touchdown. But looking at this all in all, I'm happy, despite the fact that it took us a minute to get it done. But that's the way it's got to be, Irish fans. When you see it easy for so long, you think, oh, you can do this to everybody. But unfortunately, you can't. Every game's going to be different. Every defense is going to be different. Every team's going to play you differently. So you just have to keep going, trucking along until you can get to victory. But that's going to do it for us for the moment. Make sure you go to the Facebook page and you check me out. And also go to the Facebook feed and check on us. We'll have a poll up here real soon. And I will be getting back with you guys hopefully either Monday or Tuesday. I'll have a show for you guys up as we prepare for Central Michigan. But as we leave you today, Notre Dame is winners. They go to 3-0 with Central Michigan on deck. We'll be back in South Bend next week, 1 week short of Ohio State. Make sure we give our boys support, Irish Nation, because we don't want to have this be a trap game, because we know what comes after Central Michigan, the Buckeyes. So we handle business against Central Michigan next week, then we can look forward. But until the next time, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.